Hello, fellow Bible students. I hope you're all having a good day. Today we are on chapter 5, and it's probably going to be a short video. There's just a few things I want to cover, and then some of the other things we may talk about on Thursday night. So let's start with verse 1. Let me move some things around. I have a new computer. I'm very happy. Still remembering how to work on a Mac instead of a Windows PC. So, verse 5. And I'm just going to kind of read through it like I normally do and then maybe talk about a few things. Then I saw in the right hand of him who was seated on the throne a scroll written within and on the back, sealed with 7 seals. So, let's stop right there. One possibility is that this could have actually been a book and not a scroll. And that's because, first, books were in use by this time. And the other thing is, as each of these seals are removed, something is revealed. Just that, the thing under that one seal. And then another seal is removed, and you can see the next seal. And so it makes you wonder if it was a book and each section of the book that was pertaining to that seal was sealed up individually. So that's a possibility. On to verse 2. And I saw a mighty angel proclaiming with a loud voice, "Who is worthy to open the scroll and break its seals?" And no one in heaven or on earth or under the earth was able to open the scroll and look into it. And I began to weep loudly. And remember, this is John speaking. And I began to weep loudly because no one was found worthy to open the scroll or to look into it. And one of the elders said to me, "Weep no more. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has conquered so that he can open the scroll and its 7 seals." And I did want to make a comment here. The Lion of the tribe of Judah. This is the first time, and most likely the only time, that Jesus is actually called this title, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, and also the Root of David. And we know that it's Jesus that he's talking about. He said, "The Lion of the tribe of Judah has conquered so that he can open the scroll and its 7 seals." And between the throne and the 4 living creatures and among the elders, I saw a lamb standing, as though it had been slain, with 7 horns and with 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent out into all the earth. Now, did you notice that he was told the Lion of Judah can open the scroll? But when he turned and looked, it was a bleeding lamb that was standing there, as though it had been slain, with 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent out into all the earth. Now, the 7 horns would most likely signify authority and power. And that's because these 7 horns are actually referring back to a phrase in Zechariah 3, where it is talking about the same thing. The 7 eyes signify all-seeing. That is found in Zechariah 4 and 10. And then the 7-fold Spirit of God, we talked about that in an earlier chapter. We find that in Isaiah 11. And then it keeps referring to the elders when we talked about the elders earlier. But who are the 24 elders? There are multiple opinions. I did read recently where somebody said they're the church. So I'm not sure exactly what they meant by that. I'm surprised that they left out Israel. But a lot of people think that the 24 elders are the 12 tribes of Israel, someone representing each of the tribes of Israel, and then the 12 apostles. Another possibility is that it's 24 Levite priests. And actually, 24 priests is the group that was during the old temple days, the tabernacle and the temple. I cannot remember the name that they called them. I think it was a course. A course of priests was 24 priests, and they served for 2 weeks at a time, I believe. 2 weeks or 2 months. But it was a set or a course of 24 priests. So some people believe it could be 24 Levite priests because in Ezekiel 44 it says that in the millennial temple that the Levite priests will serve at that temple that is described at the end of Ezekiel. So that's another possibility, but we don't know for sure. So let's go on to to verse 7. And he went and took the scroll from the right hand of him who was seated on the throne, which we are assuming is God from the description. And when he had taken the scroll, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, each holding a harp and golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of the saints. Now, I looked, and I don't think there's only one other place that it talks about the prayers of the saints in bowls, and that's also in Revelation. But I just love the idea of God keeping the prayers of the saints. I don't know if it's symbolic or if it's an actual thing, but the thought behind it either way is just thrilling to me, that the prayers of the saints sounds like there's something special to God. And I like that. And then in verse 9, and they sang a new song, saying, "Worthy are you to take the scroll and to open its seals. For you were slain, and by your blood you ransomed people for God, from every tribe and language and people and nation. And you have made them a kingdom and priests to our God, and they shall reign on the earth." Then I looked, and I heard around the throne and the living creatures and the elders the voice of many angels, numbering myriads and myriads and thousands, saying with a loud voice, "Worthy is the Lamb who was slain, to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing." And I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and in the sea and all that is in them, saying, "To him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be blessing and honor and glory and might forever and ever." And the 4 living creatures said, "Amen." And the elders fell down and worshiped. So that is a wonderful scene in heaven that John saw. Now, one other thing I'd like to say about this scroll or book or whatever it was is that some people ask, is this possibly the scroll that was sealed up, the words that were sealed up in Daniel's time? Do you remember in Daniel 12? And we may go over that before this study is done. We'll look at some things in Daniel that are important. Daniel 12 talks about Daniel being given a vision about the last days, and Daniel was asking questions about it, and the angel told him this: "Go your way, Daniel, for these words are closed up and sealed to the end of time, till the time of the end." So it's a guess, but it could be possible And I think what I might do before the Thursday night Zoom meeting is look at each of the items in Daniel's vision that they were just talking about in this chapter, and compare that to the seals and see if what Daniel saw is close to anything that the seals are going to expose, or if it was any other time during Revelation. So that'll be something interesting to explore a little bit. So that is all I have on chapter 5. It starts getting very interesting in chapter 6, and so we will do that tomorrow. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a good evening.